Hi, and welcome to Dramatic Knits. My name is Steve, also known as Dramatic Knits.
And I'm Callie, also known as Calisters.
And today is Monday, January
29th.
Thank you. 2018, and this is episode 300. 300. That's almost as many pounds as I weigh. No, not really. But if I don't start watching what I eat. Anyway, that's neither here nor there. But yeah, welcome. If you've been with us since episode 1.
Bless you.
Yeah. But if this is your first time viewing, we hope you enjoyed today's show, and we hope that you'll, click that subscribe button on whatever source you're watching us through, and join us in the future as well. So, yeah, craziness. 300. And I was just telling Callie before we hit the record button, next episode is going to be our 7-year anniversary. What is that in, wedding years? What's that gift? I don't know. I don't pay attention to that stuff. And Andy and I really just don't do gifts for each other anymore because we're that romantic.
Oh, yeah. Let's see what the internet says.
So anyway, while she's looking that up, I'm going to get right to the point and go over my past 2 weeks. It's been a lot of, honestly, it's just been a lot of shelling out of money and waiting on people and dyeing yarn. What is it?
For the 7th anniversary, traditional materials are copper and wool.
Oh.
Plus, the modern gift ideas are brass and desk sets.
Desk sets, not death sets. You don't want to die in, multitudes.
Yeah, no. Not good. It's not good.
So anyway, it's good to know it's wool though. That makes sense because I remember the Knit Girls, they did a collaboration for they just had their 7-year anniversary within this last 6 months or so. And they did a collaboration with wool. Obviously, yarn. Back on track. Where's it going? Oh, spending money. So I told you recently that we're Andy's last day of work is tomorrow. Craziness of real job work, and then we're fully supporting ourselves off of Leading Men Fiber Arts, which so exciting, but real scary. And it's, like I said last time, it's taking an investment to get that set up. So, we did some remodeling and stuff to set up a dye studio down in the basement so we can be dyeing in 2 areas, the kitchen and the basement. But then we've also had our stove go. We had our microwave go several weeks ago. That same day, our stove started acting up. Well, it officially went out last Friday. And they tried to come out and fix it last week, and they put the wrong part in the wrong box. It was mislabeled by one number. So they had the wrong motherboard for our stove, and they couldn't order it it wouldn't be here for another week. Well, then they called the day before they were supposed to come on Thursday. They called me on Wednesday and said, well, the part's not here, and we have no tracking, da-da-da-da. Needless to say, they didn't come till Friday afternoon, and it took the guy 15 minutes to switch out the motherboard, and all was good again. But the stove was down for 3 weeks, which put me at half capacity for dyeing yarn, So that was a hassle and a chunk of change for, 15 minutes worth of work. And then we've been dealing with an issue with our furnace. We've had some rattling going on here or there for 3 weeks or so. I posted a video on Instagram and people are like, yeah, that would drive me crazy. It's not like that all the time. It's when the furnace kicks on and it comes here or there. We have now had the furnace people out to our house 7 times. It will be 8 tomorrow. And they just keep racking up the bill. And I'm a little peeved about that. But now they think they know of another reason why the whole furnace is vibrating, and the furnace vibrating is causing the pipes attached to it to vibrate, which are then causing the sound to go through the ductwork throughout the house. That's what the issue is. But they cannot seem to figure out why the furnace is vibrating so bad. So they hope they've found a reason and they can fix it tomorrow. Anyway, so, boom, boom, dollar bills, y'all. That's what it feels like lately. But been dyeing a lot of yarn and prepping for a lot of fun things that are going to be coming up here soon. So that's the fun part. And we went to the vet and paid for our yearly meds and routines and got them scheduled to have teeth cleaning this year, because our vet does this thing: if you pay for everything in January, you get discounts. And that was more than we expected. But, they're like our kids. They're our fur babies, so that's pretty much been my life. I can't really think of anything else big other than we have health insurance, or will. Andy had to bump up his day leaving before the end of the month, so that we could start with insurance on February 1st. Just hashtag adulting, talking about life insurance and retirement and health insurance and dental insurance. It's crazy.
It is.
I like when you go to a job and they just do it and you just sign the paperwork and it's all done and you don't have to think about it.
I'm not going to lie, it has its perks.
Yeah, it does. We had an investment meeting for our retirement. They're like explaining all these plans, and they're like, we have this one, and then this one is for the people who don't really want to be involved and don't want to like make decision on what funds go into what. And I'm like, I want that one.
Was that the one you ended up going with?
We haven't made our final decisions yet, and a lot of it's going to depend, because we're not moving things from past funds and all this. It's so much I don't even.
Yeah.
So we haven't made our final decisions yet. That'll be in the middle of February, but yeah, just craziness.
Yeah.
And craziness between running it personally through the business and yeah. Anyway, I babbled on long enough. You guys are tired of it. Passing it over to this chick.
So the last time that we recorded, I literally got back from vacation that same or later that afternoon.
Flew in that morning.
Yep.
Was over at my house that afternoon.
Yep. That week was a whirlwind. A lot of things were going on with work, trying to catch up with work. We had a ag night with our minor league, or junior league hockey team in Bloomington, Illinois, and it was a good game. A lot of fighting this game. A lot of fighting. And then two of my coworkers and I went out for drinks and appetizers at a local bar afterwards, and that was good. And then this past week was extremely crazy and a roller coaster ride of emotions, and yeah, it was rough. I'm not gonna sugarcoat that. It was a rough week. But then on Tuesday night, I had been talking to my coworker and friend Jenna, and was like, she is a huge Blackhawks fan, which is the National Hockey League. They're a team, if you're not familiar with them. And I'm a huge Toronto Maple Leafs fan. And so they were playing each other at the United Center in Chicago, and I said we ought to go. And we had been talking about it since Friday when we went out for appetizers and drinks. And so on Tuesday, I was kind of like, I don't really want to go, but then I was like, we ought to. So we ended up driving. We both of us had schedules where we could leave early last Wednesday. So we drove up to Chicago, and not really any trouble getting up there. Went to the game. The game was good. Maple Leafs won, so that was awesome. Especially because we scored on a penalty shot in overtime, so it did not look like we were going to win, but it was good. Which is totally a different feel when you're not a Blackhawks fan. It's not to say that I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan, but it doesn't mean that I don't have respect for them either. Just to clarify that. But it was so different being in their home stadium and them losing. It was a totally different vibe. And there was a lot more Maple Leaf fans there than I thought there would be. And so that was awesome to interact with some other fans. And that was really good. Drove back. I got about an hour and a half sleep, and then I got up the next morning to go to the gym to work out, and then I worked a full day, and then I was the event chair for my leadership group, so I worked all of that event following that, so that was like a second job, and yeah, so that was a really rough day, and then Friday came around, and I had about 4 hours of sleep, so that was exciting, more than the hour and a half that I got the night before, and then Saturday, didn't do a whole lot, and Sunday, kind of the same deal, so it's been, like I said, it's been a roller coaster ride. I say this, and normally I wouldn't, but if you're thinking about leaving a job, please understand that there are still people that have to work there, and even if you're not on good terms with your coworkers, understand that they're going to have to deal with the mess that you leave behind too. And unfortunately, that was not well reciprocated by the person that left earlier this year. And so that has been extremely difficult. It has been really trying my patience and my emotions. So that's all I have to say about that without getting too into it. But like, I have literally, when I say this, this is kind of where my breaking point is. So if I don't have anything nice to say, then that's generally when you've hit my limit and max at the same time. And so, like, I don't have anything nice to say. And that's a dangerous zone to be in. Because I always try to look for the good in people. It may not seem like that, but I do. And so this has been extremely testing for me. So, but on the good note of that, I do want to kind of tell this story. So when we were at the game there at the United Center, Beyonce performed her formation tour there at the United Center, and I sweet talked my way to the security guard to let me take my photo in front of it. So if you follow me on Instagram, literally that photo is semi-guarded. I think that there's a door somewhere there close to it that goes into like a private access type deal, and that's why it was guarded. I don't think that they would just guard a random poster, but who knows? It's Beyonce, so but that was really awesome. The guy was super awesome about it and was like, yeah, that's totally fine. And then got called a hoe in the parking lot by a Blackhawks fan, so in my Maple Leafs jersey. And you know, it's always a unique experience when you were at a Chicago sporting event and you happen to be rooting for the team that is not Chicago, what you get called in the parking lot. That has happened as a Cards fan. That's happened as a Maple Leafs fan. So, yeah, interesting. I just want to say that. Thanks, Chicago, for the love.
Well, let's get to what we finished these past 2 weeks. I have 2 items.
I have
Neither win. Oh, and I forgot my Granny Square blanket. Again. And I'm off on my stitches.
Uh-oh.
Sorry, and I really did put work on it. I was going to show it to you. I promise next time. If I don't forget again. I told myself I should like put it on the stairs this morning so I would remember to bring it up because it's down in the living room. Because I even started squares for a second one. Yeah. We did have our friend Amber come and visit these past 2 weeks, so that was
that was a lot of fun catching up with her. Yeah.
It was last weekend. So yeah, it was good. We hung out at the knit shop and did some knitting. We went out to dinner and it was good. All right, so finished items. What do we have going on in the world of FO land? For me, the first thing I finished is the Bandana Cowl by Pearl Soho. I used Highland Handmaid's Basswood Bulky in the Mostly Dead colorway on a size 10 US 6mm needle. And I'm not sure what I'm going to do with this. This might be a future knit it forward, or I may donate it to, some charity cause. But here it is. So it's a bulky weight. I did not have enough yarn to do as what it said. they wanted it to be much higher according to the pattern, which though it looked like this size. So I'm not sure. I mean, let's call it what it is. It's not a cowl. It's a dickie. I mean, that's what it is. So yeah, I don't know. I feel like it doesn't. It's fine, but it's not totally my style. So, but I did use every last ounce of the yarn, so I used a full skein. You can see the subtle variations there. Very, very pretty. It is a Peruvian Highland wool, so it's not a superwash, so it's got that woolly feel to it. But yeah, it blocked out very nicely, and it's been done for a little bit here, so there's that. And then the second thing I finished, surprise, it's this week's. I got some wool in my mouth. It's another hat. I finished another basic worsted weight hat. This is out of Lady Men Fiber Arts box office. This one is out of the upside down colorway. And all the pattern, the recipe is on my Ravelry page. So this is going in my Operation Chemo Comfort bin for this year. And this one's done with 96 stitches. I cast on a new hat this morning and I'm doing it on 88. Just because I noticed that these fit my ginormous head with a little bit of slouch. So I'm like, maybe it'd be nice to have some more fitted ones and, you know, be a little smaller and not eat up as much yarn. Because usually I just go until I'm about to run out. And I think I have enough to do the decreases and I start decreasing. So really love this colorway.
Yeah.
It's one of my favorites. And unfortunately, it's probably, I'm going to put this out there, in the near-ish future. Can't say when. It might be changing subtly. I don't want to discontinue the color, but the purple in this has been discontinued by my dye supplier, so we have some. And I've been on the search of trying to find it. So if you are a dyer or if you have
The
hookup or you have excess dyes laying around, that you know of, it's a Purple Haze. I'm not going to necessarily say what brand because we use a mix of brands, but it is called Purple Haze. If you have that lying around and you're not using it, contact me because we'll pay for it, because this is one of my favorite colorways and it's very popular, and I can switch in the different purple, but it's not probably going to have the same effect. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So it's very unfortunate, but it is what it is. So that was knit, by the way, on a size 6 and 8 US, 6 for the brim, 8 for the body, which is a 4 and 5 millimeter needle. So those are my two finished objects this episode.
Nice.
Need a drink. Callie treated me to a strawberry, I say acai, I don't think that's actually what it is, refresher from Starbucks, and it's delicious.
My favorite is the Valencia orange, but they no longer carry it.
That's crazy. You're the one who told me to really try that. I wasn't with you when I bought it the first time, but you were like, you should really try it. I think you'd like it.
I know. Also, if you're looking for a tip, if that's too sweet for you, I cut mine with lemonade. So it's a strawberry refresher lemonade from Starbucks. Delish.
Strawberry lemonade with lemon vodka is my new happy drink. I call it my pank drink. I put it on Instagram this weekend when I was having one, but I didn't want to spell pank drink because I don't think anybody would say it right. Like it'd read pank drank. Like I don't know. Like I didn't know if everybody would get how to say it. So
there is a pink drink at Starbucks, and it's the strawberry refresher made with coconut milk or water. I think it's milk. I had it in Little Rock. And I really enjoyed it, but it was, like, so hot the last time that I had it there. Like, I think the heat index was, like, 106, and then I immediately regretted getting anything with dairy in it. Poor life choices.
Coconut, I don't like coconut. Yeah. Anyway, did you finish anything?
I did not.
Okay, moving right along into what's performing this week. First things, I'll show you this one first since I'm working on it. This is another hat out of our Ice Baby colorway. So we are working on getting swatches knit up. I have two people helping me, my sister and a lovely lady from our local knit group. And so they're knitting through swatches. Well, my sister's giving me the other half because she's like, I just like doing swatches and other things and you'll knit it faster. So I'm just basically working on hats now. unless it's the new colorway of the month and swatching that. But so I cast this on this morning. I'm almost done with the 2 inches of the ribbing. Again, size 8, size 6. And then I put a decent amount of work into my Paris by Day by Mira Cole. And she's actually the owner of Ba Yarns. And this is in the La Jolla base. Doesn't get old. In the Venom colorway. And I'm on the last of 3 skeins. I have probably like a third of the skein left to knit it up. But I'm just working on it. It'll be done when it's done. Hopefully by the next episode. But it's getting long. You see?
Yeah.
So the hair.
I like.
And the hair. And the hair. And the hair. So, yeah. Working on that. This is on a size 6 US 4mm needle. I'm using my signatures on this one. And it's a great travel project. It's not, just basic stockinette. You have to count to 8, but I've thought that might be challenging to me, but I can actually do that in crowds. So, and you can easily tell if you're off once you get it set up. So,
Nice.
and then the last thing, because I forgot my granny square blankets, I started the Simple Skype socks, and I used my random number generator and picked some stash for me, and it picked a skein of skein yarn, and this was gifted to me, and it was sent as a gift to you, and I meant to ask you, do you remember who sent this? I cannot remember off the top of my head. Somebody sent it to you. It was a gift to me with a gift to you.
I am not for sure.
Anyway, not to call. I'm so sorry if it was you. But I love the colors, and actually I think Andy's going to love it even more because it's got some speckles of orange in it. And so I paired that for alternating cuff, heels, and toes with our saffron colorway and our Leading Men Fiber Arch Showstopper Intermission, so our half skeins. And so I'm almost done with the whole cuff of the first sock.
I like that. Who did the pattern?
Adrienne Koo. And I've actually had the pleasure of meeting her a couple of times. She helps out Lene of Grinning Gargoyle in her booth a lot. So if you ever see Lene at Grinning Gargoyle at like YarnCon, or she does ZK. Adrienne's there. That's where I actually met her first, was at the first ZK I went to.
Nice.
So, yeah. And I like the stitch. It's very, very simple, and it gives a little effect and breaks up the variegated yarn. So, and I love this skein yarn. It's very, very nice for I think it's a 70. It's a merino nylon blend, but it's very nice. So, working on that. I thought about just doing basic stockinette down the foot, and I still haven't made up my mind. I might do the pattern down the foot as well, but you have to readjust stitches for the heel flap. So, when I get there, whatever the mood strikes, will be what I'm gonna do. And that, by the way, is knit on a size 1 US, which is a 2.25mm needle.
Huh.
What you been working on, girlfriend?
Sorry. So I have made decent progress on my Oofda Zombies socks. Yeah. I have not worked on them as of recently because I made a faux pas. And so when I picked up the stitches for
faux pas?
Yeah. A mistake. Faux pas? Faux pas? I call it a faux pas.
Faux pas.
It's a joke in our family, I guess. So, anyways.
I was like, something's not right there, and then I had it in my head, and then it ran away, and I was like,
it's a
but
faux
it's still
pas.
not faux pas. There we go.
Yeah, it's a faux pas, but we call it a faux pas in our house. Just, here's this long story. Neither here nor there. And so, anyways, when I picked up the stitches, I didn't pick up all of the stitches, and so I had some live stitches, and I haven't quite grasped how I want to handle this just yet because I don't have the brain power. But yeah, so I do have both of them done minus the heels. So that's where I'm at on that. Those are on size 0s. And that's out of the Fishnets yarn. And the next thing that I'm working on is going to get frogged. But in case if you would like to knit this, I'm trying to find the one that actually has the picture. This is the Morning Moments shawl, and it's by Cleany Kinserly, KELENEKINNERSLY. Anyways, it's a very pretty shawl, and it's super, like, it's I like the shawl. I don't like how the yarn choice that I selected for this is knitting into it, or knitting up. With that being said, this pattern is both charted and written directions, so if that is either way, it works for folks, depending on what you want. It is clearly well written. I actually thought there was a mistake and realized that nope, my brain just corrected something that it didn't need to, because I thought there was a second stitch marker placement and there was not. So it is very well written out. I went back and read it, found my mistake easily. The yarn is stitched together in the zebra corn colorway, and I like the yarn. I just don't like that it's not showing the pattern, because this is an extremely beautiful shawl. The pictures that are online are in a semi-solid, so I think that given the opportunity, I would do that. So I'm going to rip this out after we get done recording, and I'm not for sure what it will be. So, but I do enjoy this. The yarn is super great to work with. It's super soft. The pattern's great. It's just not the right yarn choice for this pattern. So, it is what it is.
Is that all you're working on?
Yes.
All right. Let's move into what's in rehearsal. For me, it's just, continuing to work on hats. And then I have some yarn up here from my local yarn shop that I think I picked a cowl or a hat that I might cast on next when I finish the Paris by Day, before I move on to some other things. So that might be what's on the needles next for me.
Nice. I just want to work on something that's going to bring joy.
All right, behind the scenes, my spinning. I finished some spinning actually yesterday, and I haven't washed or thwacked it yet, so that'll be coming tomorrow, and this will be up in the shop soon. This is wool pierogi dumpling bats in the cornucopia colorway, and I got 322 yards of a 2-ply sport weight. I did spin it fractally. I love this subtle kind of rainbowness to the colors. It is a mix of fibers. I don't have it down here, but I will in the listing when I put it up online. So let's see if we can see it there. So pretty.
It is pretty.
So, and then I used, of course, my random number generator to pick my next spinning, and it'll be a 2-ply. It is Yarn Geek Fibers Polworth in a one-of-a-kind colorway called Odd Duck. And I'll show you one half. This is 2 ounces. It was a rainbow. And so I'm going to spin this straight through. And then the other half was a black gray and then goes into a blackened fuchsia. So I'm going to spin that as the other half and then ply the 2 together. So it'll be like a dark ply with the bright rainbow ply. And it'll go through the rainbow and then the other color transition. So
nice.
I'm excited for that. I just started that yesterday on the wheel. All right, let's move into in the scene shop. What's going on in our other crafting worlds? Myself, I am working still on my cross stitch dimensions kit in the moment, and I'm still working on the final word. Again, I started in the middle. I'm working down. I am on the fabric. There we go. And I'm working on the word moment. But you can see here, you can kind of start to see the M coming in and then the back shading through there. So I've actually put a decent amount of work into this. But again, cross stitch takes so much more time. And again, I'm giving it about as much time as my spinning, but knitting is the majority of my time. So I'm still working on this. This is on a 28 count even weave that I picked up at Hobby Lobby. I do enjoy the even weave and working on that, and I'm doing it 2/2. So that's that. I did have to pick up an additional skein of a green colorway. I ran out of the kit color, so luckily I was able to find a DMC conversion for what color came with the kit, because it's not DMC, but you can get a close enough color. So I went to Hobby Lobby after we had dinner last weekend, and I got that, as well as something else you'll see for my sister. That is cross-stitch related, but you'll see that in stash enhancement, because I've been bad once again. So that's it. Do you have anything else in your crafty world?
No.
Oh.
I will say that I am heavily considering sending off my t-shirts to be made into a quilt, because I'm coming to the realization that I probably don't have enough time to make one. I can try to justify this all I want that I could, but there are plenty of skilled people that do this for their living, and I'm at the point where I'd be happy to pay someone to do this, and so I'm considering that, weighing options. So,
all right, in the spotlight, what are we watching and reading? Grace and Frankie, we're still watching that. We just started season 3, so making our way through that. Season 4 came out. How to Get Away with Murder, I finished season 3. I wanted to watch season 4, but they only have the most recent 5 episodes, and so I would have been missing the first 4 of the season. And while I can buy them on Amazon Prime, they're $3 an episode, and I was not willing to spend $12 to catch up on that. So I was like, I'll wait for it to come back on Netflix. So then I started a new show, and I finally landed on Zoo. This was a 3-season show. It got canceled, I believe, last year. It was a summer show, and it's based off of a James Patterson novel. And basically the premises of it is animals are done being subservient to humans, and so they are kind of, as a group, mutating to kind of form a resistance against humans. And so it's kind of the fight and realization of that so far. I just started season 2 of that, so it blew through a whole season in the last 2 weeks. And then movie-wise, Andy and I sat down and watched Dallas Buyers Club, which is an older movie. It came out in 2013. Stars Matthew McConaughey. I believe he was nominated or won an Academy Award for that.
yes.
Jennifer Gardner's in it. And it's a biography, what do you call it? A biopic about the man who founded the Dallas Buyers Club, which I had no idea what this was. But during the AIDS pandemic, when they first started releasing AZT, which is a AIDS medication, it was far too strong and was essentially killing off all the cells in the human body, not just the AIDS one. And so there was a lot of other remedies, including protein and vitamins and things of that nature that were not FDA approved in the US, but were internationally. And so he's then sought out to bring those into the US by any means possible. And there were these buyer clubs all over the United States where you could pay a monthly subscription fee. And this is how they got around the whole selling medication things. You pay a monthly subscription fee and you got these as a promotion, these vitamins and things as a promotion of the subscription fee. So it was really interesting. I know people do, I've looked at those stupid Facebook posts of these 31 celebrities did transformations for their roles. I mean, he was so skinny for this movie. And I mean, I know he was, AIDS ridden, or HIV ridden, and he was with AIDS when he realized it. I mean, he was just so deathly skinny. And Jared Leto's in it, and he was too. And
he won an Oscar for it.
Did he?
I'm pretty sure. And so did McConaughey.
So
I think they both did.
It was really good. It was not something we'd set out to watch, but it kind of popped up in our, all the Netflix streaming stuff. Because I have analysis paralysis when it comes to selecting something on Netflix. There's just too much. But so we sat and watched that and enjoyed that.
Interestingly enough, I knew about that because of Elton John's book, Love is the Cure.
Didn't you pick that up at the dollar store too?
I did.
I saw that he is doing his final tour next year.
I know. Oh my
before he
gosh.
retires.
I will be best friends with anybody that would like to purchase a ticket for me. Just saying. But there was a point to this, sorry. Yeah, with Elton John's book, The Love is the Cure, he touched on this. He didn't like go into full detail and that kind of thing. But one of the like ongoing themes of that book was Elton was like, I did a lot of really crazy and dumb and risky things. And he said, it is beyond a miracle that I didn't come out with HIV/AIDS. And I thought that was, but he's really trying to, continue the education and the research and funding for a cure and that kind of thing through his foundation and other activist roles and that kind of thing. And when I went to the Clinton Presidential Library, I was reading this book at the same time as I walked through, or I had just finished it. I can't remember. But Elton John basically was like, Bill Clinton could have done a whole lot more. And interestingly enough, in the museum, there's a framed letter from Sir Elton John to President Clinton and, detailing all of this. And it was interesting because the Clintons definitely put the stuff that they want people to see on display, and they did not show how Elton John was trying to be like this activist, and it was more of like, thanks for coming to, our shindig to perform and that kind of thing. And it's just very interesting, two sides of the coin. So anyways.
Speaking of books, though, I did finish a book, and I did want to tell you about it. Not that I'm giving it high stars. I would give about 2.5, but I wish Goodreads would let you do a 0.5, like a half star. It's really hard sometimes when you only got 5. And very rarely do I give a 5. I don't think I've given maybe one if I have to walk away, but I don't usually walk away from a book. I debated between a 2 and a 3 on this one. I think I gave it a 3. And it's called Beat the Reaper by Josh Basil. It was one of those, it was a daily deal. And it wasn't even a sale. It was a daily deal, and I picked it up. And basically, there's a doctor. How he became a doctor, we don't really know. I think it's a series, to be honest with you. I think it was the first in a series. But he's in the witness protection program from essentially the mob, because he used to be a hitman. And so it's one day in his life, and the mob finds him, and how he's trying to save his patients and avoid getting killed. And it was not a long book, and I understand that you're trying to set up a series, but there's way too much information without a backstory, enough backstory to make me invested. And so that's where my downfall was. Plus, a lot of it just seemed forced and not organic. Now that sounds stupid for the type of book that I was reading, but yeah. So that was my thoughts on Beat the Reaper by Josh Basil.
Nice. What did you set your Goodreads goal for your reading challenge this year?
I think I did 30 again. I tried to do 30 last year, and I fell short by 3 books. So I think I finished 2 so far this year, it says. Yes. And I'm on track.
I set 36, which is for a month, and no, I have not even read anything this month that is close to being finished. I'm not reading anything. I'm casually reading Fahrenheit 451. I'm casually reading this. I don't even know how, okay, when you're in conversation with a good friend and a book comes up and they're like, oh, you ought to read this, and you put it on your list, and then somehow you may find it casually on your bookshelf and that kind of thing. So I think it's called Geek Love, and it's by Catherine Dunn, I'm fairly certain. And I picked this book up on recommendation from a friend who kind of knows my reading style. And I was like, why did I set this down? Yeah, I completely remember why I set this down once I got 3 pages in. And I feel like I'm going to finish it. But this book is about this family that like basically goes through all of these different means to create the ideal freak show family with their traveling circus. So all their kids have like this unique quality that like makes them like a star for a show, and like they use radioactive type things and genetic modification and all of this, and like I just don't know. And like I started reading it again and I was like, I know why I set this down, but I ought to give it more than 5 pages, you know? I'm finding that it's a struggle. So, yeah. That's all I've got.
Well, let's talk how bad of a boy I've been with my stash enhancement.
I have really no stash. And it's not because I've forgotten anything. It's really I don't have anything.
Well, this first thing's going to be adorable. So, my sister has a thing for animals. She loves animals, especially dogs. But she's had like a side animal, you know, like a boo thing, with other animals, and it was squirrels. And I bought a different cross stitch a couple months ago that I never showed you, and I thought to bring it over, but it's a little sampler with squirrels on it. I was like, oh, I'll make that for her one day. Well, then I was walking through the cross stitch in Hobby Lobby when I picked up my skein, and I was like, oh, and I showed it to my sister, and she was like, and I said, well, I could teach you how to cross stitch, and she's like, no. So this may be on the hoop or whatever you want to call it, the Q-snap after, you know, in 5 years when my current one's done. But this is an artiste kit for a cow. My sister's new side boo chick animal thing are cows, and she just like, if we drive past a cow pasture or farm, which there's several of them around here, she's like, oh, I just want to go nap with a cow. I'm like, they smell. But this one's cute. But this one's cute.
It's cute.
So, chewing some cud. No, not really, but kind of looks like it. Maybe it just has droopy lip syndrome. So anyway, this comes on 14 count Ada. I may try to do it on the 14 count, but it's just so stiff. But it comes off with lots. So I picked that up with my 40% off coupon as well. By the way, if you do not have the apps on your phone, though my app took forever to load on Michael's yesterday, which I went to Michael's yesterday, this is where my story's going, and I couldn't get it to load, and then I get in the car after I made my purchase, and all my stuff was on sale, and so Andy's like, it probably won't work on sale anyway. Yeah, they had 20% off of anything, no matter what it was.
Oh, speaking of apps and that, this is really important, especially if you shop at Joann Fabrics for whatever need. 4-H and Joann Fabrics went into a national partnership. So if you are an alum of 4-H, if you have kids in 4-H, if you work for 4-H, you can sign up through Joann's. If you go onto their website, they have like a little button that you can click on, and it's either 10 or 15% off your total purchase every time you shop with Joann's. If you provide like your email address and like your affiliation, whether you're a parent, alum, current member, whatever. But it goes without saying that this is a huge partnership for us because our kiddos that are in textiles or really any kind of arts and crafts type activity within 4-H, that's a huge saving when you start adding those kind of things up.
Yeah.
So just worth mentioning.
Well, actually, before I show you what I got at Michael's yesterday, I did want to show you this. So, jumping ahead a little bit, the Three Irish Girls collaboration that we did, which I'll talk about in a minute, they sent us their two samples skeins before they narrowed down the colors. And I was going to use it to knit the cowl with you guys, the mystery knit along. And I decided I want to kind of do my own thing. So I took the two skeins from Three Irish Girls, which is this, and I then remembered I had 3 half skeins from this last year's ZK that came in my goodie bag of the same base and the same quantity. And I was like, hey, those kind of all coordinate together. Mm-hmm. And so I went in the search for a pattern, and I found kind of find your fade adventurous that adventurous ramp that Ambo O'Brien did. Kind of a mix of that, so like kind of the square with the trapezoid. I don't know what you call it. It's not trapezoid. Anyway,
Rhombus.
where it goes like this, but it's like that. But like this.
Parallelogram.
Sure, it's a parallelogram, but kind of with that fading and lace garter mix. So, and it called for 5 half skeins of yarn. And so it's really cool too that 2 of them are very similar, the one from the kit, but they're slightly different as well. So I just wanted to show you that will be eventually on the needles. Who knows when? But all right, what did I get at Michael's? So every time I go into these stores, those cakes with the color changing gradient, yarns are all over the place and everyone's buying them and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, I don't need to feed into that. And then I was watching Smells Like Yarn with Ross, and he loves his cakes at any of those stores. He hoards those. And he started to knit a chevron blanket out of some of this yarn. And I was like, well, that could be something on the go. Or, so I just piqued my fancy. So they had several colorways of these different cakes on sale for half off. And so I was showing Andy, and he was like, well, that might be a cool blanket. So I picked out 3 balls of their big cakes, the Caron Big Cakes. And this is in the pistachio macaroon color.
This is totally not your colors at all.
And I'm going to knit the, what do they call it here? The Catch Some Waves Knit Afghan, which is actually on the side of the ball. The 2 of them came with this pattern, and 1 ball came with a crocheted blanket. And I only could see the crocheted blanket. I didn't look through all of them. So I scoured Ravelry, which they have this with different yarn on Ravelry. And then I eventually found it on their website and realized that 2 of the ball bands had the pattern already. So when you're looking for something, sometimes it's right in front of you. So anyway, I'll be knitting an Afghan out of 3 balls. It takes 3 balls of this. They were $5.50 a piece. You can't do bad for a blanket for $15 or $16.50. So, and you can get 20% off if you use the app and it doesn't take forever to load at the cash register. Anyway, on the other side of the rack, they had the Caron Tea Cakes, which actually are discontinued, for $5.50 a ball. By the way, these are 300-gram balls with 604 yards of an Aran weight. These are 240-gram balls with 204 yards. This is a super bulky, and this, by the way, is 100% acrylic. This is 80% acrylic, 20% wool. And I picked up 4 balls of these. 2 in 2 different colors, and I'm going to make scarves out of them. It was actually harder to find scarves I really liked out of a super bulky, but I did find 2. And one is a herringbone stitch, the other one's a mistake stitch or mistake rib. So I picked up 2 skeins of this color, which is English Breakfast. It's very metallic. And then I picked up 2 skeins of this one, which is Maple Matcha.
Oh.
They actually have a really kind of cool poncho, like that's buttoned on the side, so like one of those oversized sweaters. My sister was wearing a shirt like that today, but it took 4 balls, and I was like, well, maybe. And then I was like, I don't think they would blend together. So I could literally was like this, and I walked up and Andy was like, I was like, shut your face, and then I checked out. So
For years.
it's a big bag. There's actually some other yarn I had to take pictures of in here from prior stash enhancement, but still, it's a big bag of yarn. It wasn't bad for $42. Could have been $8 cheaper. I'm not bitter about that app at all. Anyway, so we have a giveaway this week. And a giveaway is for another one of those One Skein Wonders books. And this one is One Skein Wonders for Babies. It's got 101 knitting projects for infants and toddlers. And this is put together by Judith Durant. And again, this was generously donated by our fairy yarn mother. And so, if you'd like to enter to win a copy of this book, this copy right in my hands, you must be a member of the Ravelry group, and then you must post an entry into the appropriate thread. It's already up on Ravelry because we were supposed to record yesterday, and I set everything up, and then I'm the one who was like, no, tomorrow. So, the prompt for this book is describe your perfect day. So I thought it would be fun to think about what your perfect day would be like. Give you a hint, most of the entries have some sort of knitting in them already. But you enter that and you're a member of the group, and one post per person, and I'll draw for a winner next time we record. So last episode, we were giving away a skein of this Casarita yarn, which is 100% baby alpaca. And it's got 400 yards in it. It claims it's a sport weight, but it is, probably a fingering weight. And the prompt was, what is your morning routine? And the winner was just a recent winner as well. And this went to number 5, which is Tiny Ass Farm LLC. And that's Tracy from Florida. So congratulations, Tracy, again. Please send me your information one more time. Do not keep that information on file. And she said her morning routine, I summarized it, was that her schedule can vary, but she usually checks in on her potbelly pigs about them drinking milk. So, farm life. So, Tracy, again, please email me Dramatic Knits on Ravelry. Give me your first and last name and mailing address, and I'll send the skein on your way. All right, we have some sheep scissors to review. Did you bring yours?
I did not.
And
I had them,
it's her fault, and I gave them to her ahead of time to try out.
And I had them next to me as I was finishing up something else that I'm not allowed to talk about yet. So, but I do really enjoy them. They're easy for me to use. They're comfortable for me as well. I enjoy the design. What I really like is that they're a small enough tip to get in and do very close cut, and they cut first time, which I'm really super enjoy, because I hate when you miss half of it, you know what I'm saying? And then it gets wonky. But yeah, no, these are a great investment. If you're looking for a great pair of scissors, I highly recommend these.
So Anne of the Silver Shed USA, who does bags for Leading Men Fiber Arts as well as her own shop, she drew the inspiration for these scissors. These are little sheep, as I was showing you. And Kelmscott Designs actually took her design and made them into scissors. And so you can get these on kelmscott.com, but you could also, and I would recommend, that you get them at the Silver Shed USA on Etsy. Pick yourself up a bag and a pair of scissors. Yeah. These are super cute. Anne did send these to us for review. I'm keeping the darker ones. She has the darker kind of gray-black ones, as well as the regular steel-colored. Callie got the steel ones. This one is up for giveaway. She was generous enough to give one away. And I asked on the Ravelry group, again, you got to be a member, what would you name your pair of sheep scissors? So that's been a lot of fun over the past 24 hours since the thread's been up to read those. But I enjoy, yes, that they are small and fine-tipped, because especially if you do any embroidery work or cross-stitching or things of that nature, you need to get real close, but not get all the other threads. I was also a little worried when they came in about my man hands, because I'm not going to lie, I've seen the other ones that Kelmscott does. They wouldn't work for me. I've got pudgy fingers and man hands, but my fingers do fit in the holes, and I have no issues using them. So highly recommend them.
And then just for size comparison too, these are mine. So they work for me.
I would hope so, because if you have bigger hands than me, we got issues.
One thing that I really enjoy about these scissors, and so we have a dedicated pair of scissors in each of our bathrooms for at home, for when you bring your clothes into the shower, and if it's new things with the tag still on it and that kind of thing, just to cut off the tags, the accoutrements that come with it. What I really like about these scissors is I had a very very near to me piece of clothing that had a loose fray, And instead of pulling it or tugging it, I knew that that would be Bad News Bears. But those got really close enough, and like I said, it was a one-time cut, got exactly what I needed. So even if you have your dedicated pair of scissors for whatever it is, those are worth having because I really enjoy how close of a cut they are, the small tip. And the other thing, I had something, just a second, getting old.
It'll come back to her.
Yeah.
So enter for those pairs. We have 2 giveaways this week. Crazy. We have our Clean Off Your Needles knit along going on for just a few more days. So if you see this before Thursday.
Yep. So it's any project that you have languishing in your stash or stash of UFOs, if you will. If you finish it during the month of January, it had to be finished by January 31 in order for it to count. You can post in the FO thread. It doesn't matter when it was started. So if you're like Steve and finish projects in a timely fashion.
I don't know about timely, but I don't let things languish.
Yes, that's correct. If you have a project that you started in the month of January, you can definitely enter it. If you use any base of Leading Men Fiber Arts, you can enter it into the FO thread twice. You can also enter it into the Race to the Finished Object thread as well. So you can double, triple dip, and we welcome any other podcast or any other knitting challenges into our FO thread as well. As
Absolutely.
long as the guidelines are met.
It's essentially a second Race to the Finished Object.
Yeah.
And we haven't talked about it, so I'm assuming there's nothing for February.
There is not. February for me is a busy month with weddings and travel and other things.
So we're going to take February off from a knit along, but stay tuned for our next one. Yep. So speaking of a Race to the Finished Object contest, again, anything you finish, you can post it in there. We'll have a prize from our prize pool, as well as a pattern from our featured designer, who is Shelby Hamden, and you can check out her pattern page, which is linked on our show notes at dramaticknits.com. So we're going to move into center stage, all things Leading Men Fiber Arts. If you leave us now, we're sad, but we'll see you in 2 weeks. That's going to be right the weekend before Pipeline and before I leave for California, so we'll be talking then. But anyway, I wanted to talk first off about our year in review knit along. So we do have a knit along going on in the Leading Men Fiber Arts group, and if you knit with anything, finish anything that has used one of the 10 colorways that we premiered in 2017, you can post a picture in that FO thread. There's a chatter and FO thread. There's only been 2 hats entered by the same person, so right now your odds are good. The prize is a $50 gift certificate to the shop, and you have until the end of February. So that one goes through February 28th. And speaking of the year in review kits, pre-orders for those will close on Wednesday, on the 31st of January. We do only have 10 more mini skein sets left in the shop, and once they're gone, those are gone. The full skein sets, we can dye up, but with the accoutrement that went with the mini skein sets, we've got 10 and they're gone. So I hope all of you who have received yours in the mail enjoy them and are liking them. Speaking of kits, our Love Letters kit, which was a collaboration with 3 Irish girls, as well as 4 wonderful designers, Stephanie of Telly Bean Knits, Lisa of Paper Daisy Creations, and Megan and Corey of Knit Cahoots. Those kits have sold out in our shop and 3 Irish Girls. So thank you so very much for showing us the love. We hope that you love your kit. And the Mystery Knit Along will be released starting on Valentine's Day, February 14th, and it will come out 1 clue for the next 4 weeks thereafter. So we hope that you guys have fun knitting along with that. Again, if you did not get a kit, you can still knit along. To enter for prizes, which again is a $50 gift certificate to either our shop or 3 Irish Girls, there are make-along threads in both groups. You need to use yarn from one or the other company. So if you're going to enter in the Leading Men Fiber Arts Mystery Knit Along thread, one of your yarns has to be Leading Men Fiber Arts. If you're going to enter in the 3 Irish Girls thread, one of your yarns must be 3 Irish Girls. You can enter in both if you use yarn from both companies. Does that make sense? So yeah, we're enjoying that. The designers have been weighing in the threads, and we have fun discussion going on in both groups right now. So they're going to be popping in and talking about their design process and answering questions and encouraging chatter in both those groups. So if you haven't checked them out, please do so. All right, I want to show you some new additions to the shop, not yarn. Best place to check for yarn additions anymore have been Instagram, Facebook, and our Ravelry group. But we did get a new shipment of bags in from Anne of the Silver Shed USA. So I wanted to show you those designs. Sorry, my voice is going. I'm not used to
Talking a whole lot.
talking
anymore.
a whole lot, and I need to get ready. I need to not only get my show body back. I always joke at the beginning of show season because I'm not used to like being on my feet and lifting as much stuff and setting up, and I'm like, I need to get my show body and my show voice back very quickly. So I thought I'd show you some bags. I brought up all of our extra large bags to show you, and there's one design. I'm sorry, Callie put it back. I thought she was gonna grab it. But we sold one of the extra larges, and we only got one extra large in all these fabrics, but there are several medium in each of the fabrics. And the one that I did not bring up is a Woodland Creatures birthday party, and it's super cute. But you can check that one out. Also in the shop, we have, I love this fabric. This is otters holding hands. And I can't tell what is in his hand. I'm going to say it's a ball of yarn, because that's just adorable, right? And these have, all the extra large, by the way, come with a strap. So I'll show you the lining. And then it comes with a messenger bag strap that is adjustable. Sorry, I folded that one out and now it's not. I call this one Fancy Sheeps. So cute. And this one comes with a fun pink lining. Thank you, I appreciate that. Mm-hmm. This one I called Sweaters and Scarves. It is fun, kind of knit Scandinavian sweaters and striped scarves, and I just liked it. Thought it was cute. And it's got fun chevron, black and white. This one I so want, and Andy does not like. It's so cute. I love these modern leaves. And this is a heavier fabric than the quilting cotton. I want to say this is like a twill. So it's nice sturdy fabric. Love this. Totally my colors. Oh my gosh, if you bought a skein of foliage, that's what this is. This is like foliage colors. You could totally have, I know, you could have a coordinating bag. Oh man, I might need to do that now. Not for me, but I like, kid idea. All right, the rest are jumbo knit swatches of Leading Men Fiber Arts yarn. And so Anne has done up a few swatches, and I'm sure when we see her in June again, we will be like, here's some more yarn, make some more swatches, and photograph them and print the fabric. So
print the fabric.
She has her own fabric printer because she's that amazing. So this one we've not had before. This is Country Road. And if you've gotten the knit fabrics from us before, there's kind of a kaleidoscoping effect due to the size of the picture. We've enlarged the print, so the stitches are super nice and big, and you don't have that kaleidoscoping effect. And what's fun is she's got the reverse stockinette on the inside. It's a big selling feature for me. Like, the detail is cute. So that's Country Road.
And Anne's bags are great if you've not had them yet.
Yeah. Shot in the Dark. Again, it's just the reverse stockinette on the inside. That Somewhere. It's fun how this one kind of striped up at the gauge she knit it. And we've had that Somewhere and Shot in the Dark and this one Glacial before. And then this one I love. This is Long Stocking, and we've not had this one before. So those are the new print fabrics that we've gotten and all the new bags. Again, these are all the extra larges that come with the strap, but we have mediums available as well. So you can check out the shop at leadingmenfiberarts.bigcartel.com. Before we go, I just want to remind you of the shows we'll be at in February, and we'll be at the Knitting Pipeline Retreat, February 16th, 17th. I will be there attending the retreat, and super excited about that. And then we'll be at Stitches West. Andy keeps looking at little things we could stop at on the drive there and the drive back. Because again, we're taking Route 66 the whole way there. So at least there we might take a different route back. But so that's super excited. If you are looking for us at Stitches West, we are going to be in booths 1340 through 1344. We're going to be across from Plucky Knitter. So if you're looking for us, it's kind of in the back. Not all the way in the back, but pretty far back there. But we're still excited nonetheless. So come check us out. Say hi. It'll be me and Andy. So excited about that. We just got our booth numbers for Stitches United, which is coming up in March in Connecticut. So we'll be right up front there. So I'll talk more about that later on, though. We'll just focus on February. So yeah, definitely come and say hi. Anyway, again, you can find us on YouTube and iTunes and the blog, which is dramaticknits.com. We do have a Ravelry group for Dramatic Knits. We're over 2,000 members. That's crazy. So come on over, join the group. Again, Leading Men Fiber Arts, Instagram, Ravelry, and Facebook. Best places to follow us. And yeah, until we see you again in 2 weeks,
We hope you
knit something dramatic.